Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing okay and you're having or you've had a good day. I'm still waiting for people to join in before we can start our quick discussion for today. Right, if people can hear me, if please you can hear me and my voice is okay, my camera is okay, please let me know that by writing it in the comments section. Right, so can you please tell me if you can hear me and see me very well? Again, please let me know in the comments section whether you can hear me or not so that I can fix things up. Hi Khadija, can you please tell me if you can hear me? I would like to join you, but I'm sick as a dog. I'm so sorry for this. Get well soon, Nazem. No problem, maybe next time. Right, Khadija and Nazem, please. Yes, I can, Khadija. Hi Ahmed. Please let me know again in the comments section whether you can hear me or not. Khadija said that she can, so it's nice. Okay. Okay, now we have some people with us. We can start as soon as you tell me whether my voice is clear or not. Clear. Right. Okay, so good evening again and welcome to this quick live stream. In this short and quick one, I will be talking about placements placement tests, what are placement tests, and what are some of the misconceptions that many people have about placement tests. First of all, let us ask ourselves this question. What is a placement test? Simply, it is taken from the word to place something. To place something. And of course, here we will be talking about English placement test. I want to develop my English, or I want to see how good I am in English, or I want to see, or I want to be sure what is my level in English. What should I do? Simply and clearly, you will be taking placement test or an English placement test. Yes, right. A placement test is something that we here in Syria think of as when you go to an institute and you want to register for online courses or offline courses. For example, you go to that institute and you tell them, I want to register for a conversation course or for an English course, whatever. So the first point they tell you is that you need to have a placement test. Now, usually, what I saw from many institutions here in Syria is that they give the student a paper. Actually, this paper may be this exam may can be 5 to 6 pages, and it contains a lot of information, a lot of questions that the student has to answer, and it can be on a lot and a variety of topics regarding grammar, vocabulary, matching, filling in the gaps, whatever. And then they go and tell him or her, of course, go to that room, sit in that room, and you will be allotted 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. This 1 hour and a half will be the time you will be taking this test, and after this test you will hand in this exam paper and you will go and they will tell you you will have your answer, you will have your grade in like 3 to 4 or 5 days, whatever. Now, I am not totally against these tests, because whether we like it or not, part of placement tests has to be written, because as you know, the English language has got many skills. We talk about listening skills, speaking skill, reading skill, and finally we have the writing skill. But what I am totally against is the idea that this test only, or these tests, sorry, only test your grammar skills, maybe to some extent your writing skills. Wait. Yes, I can. Right, go ahead. Where are you from? Clear, it's up to you. Thank you so much. Okay, right. So, why am I against these tests? No, I'm not saying that these tests are not helpful. They are helpful, and they can determine to some extent whether the student is eligible to be in, for example, the pre-intermediate course or the intermediate course, or whether they should be in, beginner students. But the problem that I saw is that these tests only contain grammar section, vocabulary section, and that is it. And that is it. There is no, there is nothing in these placement tests that can test your, for example, listening comprehension or listening skills, speaking skills, nothing. Just get, for example, I read one of the placement tests at one of the institutions, and the first question was about choose the correct tense. About 15 questions to choose the correct tense, which is good, The second question, choose or fill in the gaps with the missing word. The third one, match the sentences, or match column A sentences with column B sentences. All these are good, and they test some skills in English in some way. But what I am referring to is the idea that these placement tests never care about a lot of English skills. For example, the writing skills, the speaking skills, and also the listening skill. So, for example, my students, or the students who will be taking these placement tests, might be perfect in grammar, so that their score will qualify them to be, for example, in the intermediate level. But if we are talking about the intermediate level in general, the intermediate level student can speak, can listen very well, can or has a lot of vocabulary, can write very well. But what happens is this: when the students come to us, for example, I'm a teacher and I am now in charge of an intermediate course, and I have students in my class who are basically intermediate students depending on the placement test they have taken. So, is this, in your opinion, a better way or a good way to test somebody's level? In my opinion, it's not, because here's why. First of all, my students, or the students who have taken these placement tests, will come to the class, and the first thing they will tell me is this: please, teacher, can you speak in Arabic? Of course, I'm here talking about intermediate students. So I get a little bit surprised, and I tell them, why should I speak? Why should I speak in Arabic? You are an intermediate student. He told me, yes, I am an intermediate student, and I understand all the grammar rules. I know all about the grammars. I know all about the tenses. I told him, okay, grammar is one of the skills in English, but there are also some other skills that we should focus on as well, including listening and speaking. What I get surprised by is that I see these students have no speaking skills, no listening skills, and their vocabulary is somehow limited. But on the other hand, their grammar is very good. Now, as a teacher, what should I do? For example, now the institutions that you work with tell you, Mr., this is the placement test that can decide the student's level, and they tell you that if you want to see the listening and the speaking skills of a student, you have to give them 1 or 2 sessions that are free, and then you can see whether the students are eligible to be in your course or not. In my opinion, this is something that is not 100% true, because simply speaking, if you want to test somebody's level or a student's level in English, and then you will tell him that your level is intermediate or upper intermediate, and then after 2 meetings you will tell him that your level is not intermediate, your level is elementary or pre-intermediate, the students will feel sad and they will feel disappointed and they will lose their confidence in themselves. So why should I tell a student that your level is intermediate and I only tested his or her grammar skills? I didn't test their listening skills. I didn't test their speaking skills. Now, some people might ask me, Mr., how can I test somebody's speaking skill or somebody's listening skills? There are many ideas, there are many ways by which we can assess somebody's listening skills or somebody's speaking skills. At first, if I am talking to this person, there has to be a meeting between a teacher and a student. The paper-based exam is not enough to decide somebody's level. Yes, let me just read some comments and then I can get back to my idea. You will continue to download these courses in Facebook. Mate, okay, thanks, sir. I need to ask you, where is the difference? Okay, personally, I think that they should do both oral and written tests in order to decide the student's level. Of course. Thank you very much, Ahad. This is the perfect way to test somebody's skills or somebody's level in English. If I only go and tell the student, go to the room and close the door behind you, here's a pen and here are 4 or 5 papers, do it. And then after 1 hour, they will come out and they will hand in their papers and they will tell you, we are finished. What's our level? And then you will tell them, okay, go for 5 days, and in 5 days your grade will be ready. And then you will notice that after grading their papers, you will notice that they got, for example, 90 or 92 out of 100. So you will say, oh, mashallah, they are upper intermediate or they are advanced students. Okay, that is good. Maybe they are advanced or upper intermediate students in some skills. And personally speaking, we non-native speakers are always good in grammar. But you know what the problem is? The problem is that we are good in grammar, we are good at memorizing grammar. But let me tell you what, we are bad at applying grammar. What I'm saying here is that we are bad at applying the grammar skill to speaking or to listening or to reading or to writing. So that is our problem. I think as an English teacher, grammar is not a main skill. Grammar is an integrated skill. So grammar should be incorporated in listening skills. Grammar should be incorporated in speaking skills, writing or reading skills. Grammar should not be the main focus. Grammar should not be the standard to test somebody's level in English. And this is, of course, one of the main reasons why some students come to me in my institution and they tell me, Mr., I finished course number 4, I finished course number 5 in some institution, and I need to continue with you in, for example, the intermediate course. So I do not accept anybody without a placement test. I should sit with them. I should talk to them. I should see their level. Yes, I may ask them to do some written tests, but at first I need to talk to these people. I need to see these people. I need to listen to these people. See how well they speak. See how well they can hear. Without these meetings, I don't think it is even possible for someone to test their English. Let's take the international tests, for example. The TOEFL or the IELTS. As you can see, in the TOEFL or the IELTS test, there are written texts where you have to write some topics, or you have to read and then answer some questions. Yes, there are. But there are also listening questions and speaking questions. You can never test somebody's English or somebody's level in English without focusing on these 4 main skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The only thing we do here in Syria is that we only focus on the grammar skill, and we vary the questions that we will ask our students in the placement test. We ask him to conjugate the verb. We ask him to choose from multiple choices. We ask him to match the sentences. We vary the question, but we are still asking about the same skill that a lot of students got bored of. We really have got bored of being tested with grammar, and we have had a lot of grammar. But the problem is we only think that grammar is what matters. But in fact, grammar is not everything. Grammar is something good. I'm not saying that grammar is not important. No, grammar is important. But also there are some skills that we teachers, we people who manage institutions, we people who are in charge of making or taking placement tests, we should pay attention to the other skills. Because now everybody has started to know that English is not only grammar. People who have traveled outside, people who saw other people speaking in English outside the country, they know that grammar is not everything. English is all about listening, speaking, reading, writing, and also it is about some grammar. But here, in our institution, even in conversation courses, the placement tests for conversation courses is what? Is a written exam. Can you believe it? It's a conversation course. So the main focus should be on conversation, should be on listening and speaking. But no, they make him or they make her go and take an English placement test that applies her or him to write and choose and to conjugate, just like taking any grammar test. Yes. Okay. Okay. So before I go and take and read some comments, I will just finish up my sentence by saying placement tests are not only about grammar skills, are not only about choose the correct tense, present simple or present continuous, and whether you see now you put the present continuous, and if you see usually put the present simple. Placement tests are more than this. If you want to to do the placement test for someone or for some students, they are called placement tests. They should place the students in the correct way, on the correct path. So please, all I wanted from this live video is to clarify some points that are related to placement tests and to some misconceptions that people, institutions, or even some teachers do when making or creating placement tests for students. Let me answer some questions before I end this live. Mate, your English is wonderfully good. Thank you very much, Mr. Mo. Thanks, sir. I need to ask you, where is the... I couldn't understand your question, Ahmed. I have a lot of vocabulary and I am able to understand everything, but English language, someone talk to me, but I can't speak like you. Dear Riyah, you don't have to speak like me. I'm not a perfect person. All you have to do is to practice speaking so that you can speak clearly and so that people can understand you. You don't have to sound like a person from the United States or a person from the United Kingdom. Nobody told you to speak like native speakers, but you are expected to speak English clearly so that people at least can understand you. I can understand very well. I have good grammar level, but I have difficulties in terms of speaking faster and thinking in English. So what should I do to fix the issue? CD Bab. Okay. For those people like you, Mr. Sadie, I think your name is like this. I am talking about this idea. Now, this person tells me that my grammar is amazing. How did he know that his grammar is amazing? Because he took a placement test that only focused on grammar. That's why he thought of himself as an upper intermediate or as an advanced student in English. But when it came to speaking and listening, he is having difficulties. So what is the problem here? The problem is that this person took the wrong placement test. Placement tests should include all the skills that the English has. And we all know that the English language has 4 main skills and also some sub-skills. So my advice to you, Mr. Sidi, is to keep on speaking, keep on listening, develop yourself, listen to as much English as you can, even if you can't understand very well, and then try to speak and repeat what you have heard so that your English becomes easier and easier with time. You mean listening, speaking, writing, and reading more important than grammar? Tasneem, I am not saying they are more important. I am saying they are as important as grammar. But our institutions, our schools tell us that all you have to do, whether you are at school, whether you are at university, whether you are in a conversation institution, you have to learn all about grammar. And if you have the time, go and learn some speaking skills and some some listening skills or speaking skills. But what I'm saying is that speaking, listening, and reading and writing skills are somehow ignored here in schools, in universities, even in institutions. All what we care about is to let students be familiar with the grammatical features or with the grammatical rules. So students have become familiar with grammatical rules, but they have become unable to put these rules into practice. That's the problem. Okay. I like grammar so much, it's like a game. We get your idea, but as a student, what we can do? As a teacher, you can decide your way to test your student. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the correct idea. As a student, all you have to do is to listen to your instructor. All you have to do is to tell your instructor, what is my level in English? Is my level good? But your teacher, if the placement test that he or she created was based on grammar and you got 90, he will tell you that you are an advanced you are an advanced student because he only or she only tested your grammar skills. I like grammar so much, it's like a game. It is, and I like it so much. It's not that I don't like it. Thank you. You are right. There must be another way for placement test. When I registered at the Land of Languages, I took the placement test and was placed in the 3rd level. When I went, you were my teacher, and there I got to know you, but the level was difficult, especially you only spoke English, so I did not understand anything, although my written level is excellent. That is it, Muhammad. I don't remember you very well, but this is the problem. Muhammad took the placement test, and he was a pre-intermediate student. So when he got to the class, he found that the level was so difficult, although his written English is good. So what is the problem here? The problem is that he wasn't tested in his listening or speaking skills. Right. This is all I wanted to talk about. Is there any one who has some questions, or do you have any questions for me before I end this live? Right. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that I clarified some points regarding placement tests and the misconceptions related to placement tests. See you inshallah in other live streaming videos. Thank you and goodbye.